Hey everyone, welcome to this full moon Sidereal astrology forecast for the full moon on Sunday, March 28th, 2021. All right, so full moon in the constellation of Virgo, the maiden. If you're expecting me to say Libra just then, be sure to check out that link down below for more information. We are using the visible sky, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so heightened phase of the lunar cycle. It's been a very watery one. This whole new cycle did start in Pisces, and of course we still have the Sun, Venus, and now Chiron all conjunct in Pisces. So it's been a great time for spiritual development and doing things that bring in more peace and spiritual fulfillment in our life, and to illuminate things that are more deeply emotional and spiritual in the unconscious, all to find more peace. But now we come to the halfway point, which is the balance part of the sky of Virgo, which is all about now grounding these spiritual, emotional, and watery energies. So a great time now of seeing how can we incorporate more of the improvement orientation of Virgo, which is about doing things that require self-discipline to ground this stuff, maybe meditation, maybe good routines, building good habits, maybe health and diet, doing our work and service. All this kind of improvement-oriented stuff is the gateway for these healthy expressions of Pisces, the healthy expression of spiritual development and finding more peace in our life. So a great time of doing a status check with this. There's also a kite, so easy aspects with the full moon we'll talk about. And we'll take a look at some of the other dispositor, Mercury, to get more detail on this. So let's go and take a look at this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the chart for the full moon. So again, the full moon will be on Sunday, March 28th. The exact time will be at 14:03 Eastern Time of the Americas. That's 14:03 Eastern Time of the Americas. If you do want to make that calculation for wherever you are in the world, but of course, for all intents and purposes, it will be the days surrounding Sunday here. All right, and as you can see here, the constellations are different sizes. This is very different from mainstream astrology, which all use an even 30 degrees. Even the Vedic Sidereal astrology uses an even 30 degrees. So this does change the signs. And so if you are noticing some of the signs are different, like if you're expecting me to say that the full moon is in Libra, again, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so full moon, heightened phase of the lunar cycle, but being a very watery lunar cycle, it is a time still of turning inward. But still nonetheless to now maybe implement some of this inward energy, the spiritual energy, out into the world. And this is what Virgo helps us do here. Virgo, the maiden, is the side of ourself that is improvement oriented. And so it's a great time to now do this status check with this side of ourself. How is our improvement oriented side? Are we willing to do things that do require self-discipline for our betterment, for our own improvement? Maybe personal development, things like this. And also improvement in terms of our routines and our habits and our day-to-day structures. So essentially to ground all of this spiritual energy, because it's been a very watery time. And of course still is with these fast movers all in Pisces, and now Neptune starting to enter into Pisces collectively as well. So a lot of this, importance of doing things that are now important to us on a soul level and a spiritual level. It's been a great month for this, and also to illuminate more things that are deeply spiritually meaningful for us. And again, finding ways to find peace. But what helps us do that, what helps us find healthy peace, right, is this improvement nature. Good habits, good routines, doing our work and service, maybe health and diet, right? If we look at some of the most spiritual individuals in the world, like let's just say Buddhist monks, for example, for them to reach such high levels of peace and enlightenment, look at the tremendous amount of routine and self-discipline it takes to do that, right? Their rituals, their time schedules, right? Their even repetitive activities, or what you might consider their work and service, right? These physical, day-to-day, almost automatic and routine energies are what grounds the spiritual, right? And so now it's a great time of doing the status check to see how can we implement more of these healthy routines, healthy habits, healthy work and service, right? In order to find more peace in life, because it's really through that stuff that we find the healthy ways of finding peace and spiritual development. So that's what this axis is all about. It's about health, balancing both the spiritual, mental health of Pisces with physical health, right? And also the balance between being and doing, getting plenty of rest and sleep and alone time, but also staying busy, right? Doing our work and our service, right? So finding this balance here between these two, I think, is really the emblem of the full moon. And right now doing a status check around Sunday to see how this is going, and maybe making some shifts and changes for the remainder of the lunar cycle for the next 2 weeks to help us, again, incorporate more of this health and well-being and, balance between being and doing type of energy. So let's take a deeper dive into this. We do have Venus very close to the sun during this full moon, and they'll be conjoining up to Chiron as well with the full moon. So coming up to Sunday, it is a good time of seeing what are our deeper spiritual values with Venus and Pisces, and maybe even coming to some awareness about what we do want or enjoy or want to connect to on a deeper spiritual level in life. And this can also be with our relationships as well, a lot probably being illuminated, and good to even do a status check with how our values, right? Maybe these deeper emotional, spiritual values that we can further develop, but also how are our deeper relationship values, right? And incorporating some of that acceptance and receptivity into our relationships as well. So all this is getting illuminated, it is getting developed, both values and relationships. Now with Chiron so close by, there is a lot of healing energy involved with this as well. Chiron and Pisces for the past 3-4 plus years has been a good time of, seeing how this alone time and spiritual peace does lead to more rejuvenation, more healed energy, right? So if there is anything that, again, might even feel like a wound or something that we're inhibited about, that maybe we're afraid of, maybe unconsciously, to surrender, to let go, or to simply find more peace in life, right? It's doing those things in the face of any wounds that can make this a very healing time. And in fact, with any intentions you do want to set around healing just in general, it's a great time for this. Pisces is about healing, Chiron's about healing, but what we could say is Chiron is healing the unconscious. It is healing our spiritual body and our spiritual approach to life, and our willingness to let go and find peace. And so if there's anything you do want to challenge yourself with that, or to again incorporate some intentions with healing that side of yourself, right? It's going to be a great time of doing that. And again, all spiritual activities, meditation, yoga, Tai Chi, whatever it is that you do, all this can be very healing and therapeutic with this full moon as well. All right, so that's the most important aspects, which are the conjunctions. But of course, as you can see here, it is forming this kite. You can see it looks like a kite, and it's pointing from the moon to the sun. And so we do have some nice supportive trines with this. First of all, Mars and Saturn are in this grand trine, which is fantastic for this full moon. So with Mars and Taurus, we're now getting some support from Mars, which is that of maybe feeling a bit motivated, a bit driven, even though it is, again, more watery sort of time. There is this great support for action and initiative, which is always good during full moon energy anyways, maybe even some confidence or assertiveness. And with Mars in Taurus going over the North Node here, recognizing that right now taking action in a way that is steady, right? Slow, steady, and grounded, I think is fantastic. And this also speaks to the Saturn in Capricorn, where we're probably just more willing to be patient, steady, and grounded at this time. Saturn, as part of this kite here, helps us see that there are things that maybe do take time in our life that we can maybe accomplish and achieve, which is really what this year is about. I think collectively is what we want to build and maybe accomplish and achieve, either personally or externally. But nonetheless, with this, we have a great support to do this, where during this full moon, we're probably more willing to put in the time, right, to be patient and to persevere. And anything that does require that building or climbing of the mountain, I think is very supportive with this placement. All right, so that's the kite there, and of course they'll be sextiling up to the sun from this grand trine. All right, so that's the most important aspects with the full moon. We do have a very minor quincunx up to Uranus, nothing major, but maybe feeling a bit free with the full moon as well. Maybe a bit more like our individual selves, and maybe challenging our own status quo a little bit, again, to take action and initiative with Uranus and Aries. But I do want to talk about the dispositor of the full moon, which is Mercury. Mercury does rule Virgo. So whatever Mercury is doing can give us more insight into where this improvement orientation can be coming through. And with Mercury, right now, Mercury's finishing Aquarius and going into Pisces. So approaching the full moon, I think our minds are very progressive, still very future oriented, whether it's about our own future aspirations or collective matters, right? It's a very progressive and forward-thinking mind that we certainly have available. And so that's one of the great areas of incorporating some of this improvement is maybe into trying new things, right? Innovative things, accessing that vision, that willingness to disrupt, right? Aquarius, to disrupt things, to induce some change, right? Healthy change, to help further develop this improvement nature. But especially after the full moon, once Mercury does go into Pisces, this is going to add to the watery energy of the full moon. Again, making that it's through that spiritual development, through finding more peace in life, that we could be doing some of this work, some of this improvement, some of this personal development. But again, that goes without saying because the full moon is activating both Virgo and Pisces. All right, everyone. So that is the full moon in a nutshell. Most important thing is recognizing that this is all part of a cycle that started 2 weeks ago in Pisces, which is this whole lunar month about finding more peace and spiritual fulfillment in our life and doing things more spiritually meaningful and maybe even some rest, alone time, spiritual activities, right? To connect to the soul and deeper feelings, essentially. But what helps that stuff be grounded so we're not escaping or hiding away or going to any extremes of that solitude or aloneness or whatever is Virgo, right? And Virgo helps ground that watery energy into the physical world. And so in order to find healthy ways of peace, right, in life, it does require the work, right? Grounded work. So great time for rituals, building good habits, good routines, health, diet, our work and service, right? Anything that's improvements oriented and personal development oriented, especially if it requires self-discipline, right, is a great time of incorporating that kind of energy. And with this support, we do have this kite supported by Saturn, more earth energy, more grounded, more responsible, willing to see the long road. Mars, maybe some fire, some assertiveness, but also grounded in Taurus in terms of how we're taking action. And of course, recognizing that with this can come some insights about what we enjoy, what we value with Venus, maybe even some shifts with our values and also with our relationships, right? Some awareness coming in there, maybe some shifts and changes there in terms of what's more spiritually meaningful to us and how to incorporate relationships on that deeper spiritual level. And all this can be very healing and therapeutic with Chiron. So any intentions around healing or quite literally doing some of these spiritual things or things that lead to more peace in life can certainly be very therapeutic with this full moon as well. All right, so everyone have a fantastic full moon. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that like button if you haven't yet. And if you're not yet signed up for MTZ Insiders, that is a newsletter where you do get these videos released first. So if you're not yet signed up, there's a link down below for that. But everyone have a great full moon. Thank you again, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.